Are you ready to reinvent yourself? I want to share 4 YouTubers who are giving some guidance in the areas of relationships, weight loss, stress and anxiety, and life at a certain age. Today on Reinventing You. Hi, my name is Amelia Sims and I'm going on a reinventioning journey. It mainly has to do with my career, or at least recovering from my former occupation. I know that even though I'm just focusing on my career, it is impacting other areas of my life as well. I would love it if you would stick around to the very end of the video because I have a very important question to ask you. How much time do we spend on YouTube? I don't know about you, but I'll get on YouTube and I'll be looking something up and all of a sudden the time has flown. In the meantime, I've been entertained, I've learned some new skills, and I've gotten some great advice. I just was thinking about, what about the other YouTubers out there who may or may not be covering topics similar to reinventing or self-transformation? Who out there is helpful? Who am I looking at? Who am I watching? And there are 4 YouTubers that I have been following, and I feel like they kind of give some advice and some direction for other areas to reinvent yourself. And so the 4 areas that we're going to cover today are romantic relationships, life after a certain age, that is life after real retirement age, losing weight, specifically, keeping weight off, and also stress, anxiety, and depression. I have some links that I'll have while I'm talking about each one above, and then I'll also have the names of the YouTubers and their channels below. If you want to check them out, I invite you to do so. Losing weight is probably one of the areas where all of us want to reinvent ourselves at one time or another, and sometimes it's the hardest thing because it's not just about eating or exercising or a combination of both. Sometimes it's something in your mind, sometimes it's other things going on around you. And so I want to introduce you to the Modern Health Monk. Alex Heyne is the one who is the Modern Health Monk, and he is the author of the book Master the Day, in which he interviewed several people who had lost 100 pounds or more. And one of the things that he discovered in this experience was that there were some tiny habits that these people were able to procure and help them to lose weight. And so that's part of what his channel is about. Now, Alex is now in med school, so he provides all kinds of direction in terms of sleep and scheduling and eating right, eating healthy, meditation, all of those things. It's not just about losing weight, although he has a specific program for that. He's somewhere that you might want to start. If weight is a concern of yours or staying healthy is a concern of yours, I would recommend the Modern Health Monk. Speaking of taking care of ourselves, we could all use some counseling advice from Julia Christina. Now, maybe you already have a counselor, maybe you can't afford a counselor, maybe you think, do I need a counselor? But Julia Christina Counseling is the YouTube channel that you may want to check out. Julia covers a variety of topics and she posts several times a week, and I always find her very helpful. She specializes in helping us get out of a state of stress, anxiety, and depression so that we can feel better about ourselves. Now, Julia does, like I said, Julia does cover a lot of different topics, but the one that I've linked above is about emotionally strong people and what they do every day, 4 things they do every day. And I found it very interesting and very helpful as well. So check out Julia Christina Counseling. Perhaps you feel like an overhaul in your romantic relationship. Now, this may be something as little as dealing with stress at home, or maybe it's big as possible divorce. But I know that there's a lot of things that happen when you live with another human being and try to love them in all kinds of areas. So I've been really following and reading Esther Perel, and her YouTube channel is Esther Perel. She has also written a couple of books, and the first one that she wrote several years ago is Mating in Captivity. What a great title. And the one that I have read is called The State of Affairs, and I found it very helpful. She gives a lot of stories of advice and things that have happened that she has observed, and she's not judgmental, which I really like. Now, the link that I've given above actually goes to her welcome channel, the welcoming main page of her channel, and so you can you can spend a few minutes on a Q&A where she answers questions, maybe 1 or 2 questions, and they're just really brief. Or she has some presentations below that. They're an hour or more. There's even some TED Talks and some interviews. And I enjoy listening to her. Now, she is not from this country, so sometimes her accent is a little difficult. But I really like the way she presents her subject. And whether you are in a really distressed situation yourself, we have all been impacted by infidelity, whether it's a friend, whether it's our parents, whether it's ourselves. Somebody in your life has some kind of story about infidelity, and we've had to give advice or been a shoulder to cry on, or maybe we've been the person crying. And she just really presents it in a very understandable way and really tries to help us all live better lives with our romantic partners so that our whole lives can be stronger and more enjoyable. Speaking of stronger and more enjoyable, what about when you get to a certain age, maybe a retirement age, and you need to have some reinventioning then? Check out Margaret Manning's 60 and Me. There's also a website of the same name. Margaret is a wonderful, calm presence. It's like sitting down with her over a cup of tea. Speaking of which, she always does have a cup of tea. I always like to find out what kind of tea she's drinking. So check out what she has to say, and in the link that I've given above, she gives some personal stories about her life and then some advice her own financial advisor has given, and some pointers for people who are retirement age or even after retirement. I find her advice helpful, even though I'm not quite that age myself. I just really like all of the things, and she specifically addresses women. Margaret gives some great advice, and she wants anyone over the age of 60 to be living the dream life. So grab a cup of tea and check it out. Thank you for sticking around for my big question. It simply is, what YouTube channel or YouTuber has been influential for you, whether in previous times or right now? Now, I know this is like the question you get in Sunday school maybe, or at church, who's the person you need to be following? Of course, Jesus. So I don't want the answer to be, well, you, Amelia, you're the best YouTuber out there. Even if that's the case, I want you to give some names of some other YouTube channels or YouTubers that you would recommend. Now, they may not even have anything to do with reinventioning, but what I have discovered is even though the whole channel may be about something else, sometimes they'll have a subject or two or a topic that might be pertinent to reinventioning in any area of our lives. And I always like to check that out. I also like to get some ideas of what other YouTubers are doing. Sometimes the algorithm that I have on YouTube just gives me the same channels, so I would really like to have your input. I'm so glad that you were with me to check out these 4 YouTubers, and I hope you will do that. And I'll see you again on YouTube. Have a great one.